They buried over 300,000 men at Verdun. Some of them were never found, and decades later, soldiers stationed there reported hearing breathing in the trenches when no one was there. Verdun wasn't just a battle, it was a machine designed to grind men into the mud. 10 months, over 700,000 casualties, artillery so constant that the earth itself never stopped shaking. And today, parts of that battlefield are still officially classified as red zone, too dangerous to enter, but not because of mines, because of what people say they hear. World War I. Germany launches Operation Gericht, a plan not necessarily to take Verdun, but to bleed France dry. The strategy was brutal. Force the French army to defend something symbolic, and destroy them slowly. Artillery shells fell at a rate humanity had never seen before. Entire regiments vanished, villages erased. The soil was churned so violently that bodies were swallowed whole to this day. Farmers in the region still uncover bones. Verdun is less a battlefield, and more a mass grave the size of a city. But what happened after the war might be stranger than the battle itself. In the 1920s, French workers clearing unexploded shells began reporting something unusual. Footsteps behind them, whispers in German, in empty fields. Some said they heard coughing, the wet, choking cough of men exposed to gas. Others described the sensation of being watched from the tree-lined dot at first. It was dismissed as trauma. Then came the soldiers. During World War II, German troops occupying the region reported similar experiences: cold air in sealed bunkers, shadows in communication trenches. One account from a Wehrmacht officer described voices beneath the ground, as if the earth were breathing. This was not folklore passed down, these were written logs, military records. Before we go further, we need to address something. War trauma can cause auditory hallucinations, so are we looking at psychology or something else? After the war, France designated large sections around Verdun as Zone Rouge, so contaminated by unexploded shells and chemical residue that habitation was permanently banned. Even today, parts remain closed. Forests regrew over trenches, but they grew unevenly. Some areas show stunted growth. Soil samples reveal abnormal chemical concentrations, and beneath the surface, thousands of unrecovered remains. Now imagine this. You are walking through a forest. Under every step, there are bones. Does the human mind fill silence with ghosts? Or does memory linger in places like this? In 1984, a group of French teenagers illegally camped near Fort de Douaumont. At 2:17 a.m., one of them began recording audio on a portable cassette device. The tape captured faint metallic clanging, distant shouts, what sounds like a whistle. No one else was in the forest. Military archives show no exercises conducted that night. Skeptics argue it was wind interacting with old metal debris, but audio analysts later noted rhythmic patterns resembling coded signals, unexplained, not proven paranormal, but unexplained. And unexplained stories travel. There is a concept called place memory, not supernatural. Psychological. When humans know something terrible happened somewhere, the brain becomes hyper-alert. Verdun is layered trauma. Generations grew up hearing stories of fathers and grandfathers who never returned. So when wind moves through collapsed trenches, when rusted barbed wire shifts, the brain interprets pattern recognition, survival, instinct. Humans are meaning-making machines, sometimes too good at it. But here's the part skeptics struggle with. Multiple independent accounts describe similar phenomena. Breathing sounds from underground German phrases whispered, that smell of chlorine gas, reports spanning decades, different wars, different soldiers, no shared folklore at the time. Either mass suggestion is incredibly powerful, or something about Verdun resists silence. Verdun wasn't clean death, it was men buried alive, men lost in mud, men never accounted for in some sectors. Bodies were so deeply embedded in collapsed trenches that excavation was impossible. They remained there. If you stand at Verdun today, it looks peaceful, birds, trees, wind, but beneath you lies one of the densest concentrations of human suffering in modern history, and sometimes places that absorb enough tragedy don't simply forget. Is Verdun haunted? There is no verified evidence of the supernatural, but there is verified evidence of unimaginable trauma, and trauma echoes in stories, in memory, in landscape. The trenches of Verdun may not contain ghosts, but they contain history so violent that it feels like one, and perhaps that's more disturbing. Next week, we examine a battlefield where soldiers reported seeing creatures crawling between craters in no man's land. Not metaphor, not rumor, official reports. Subscribe if you want to explore the strange side of military history, because war leaves more than scars. It leaves questions.